What if you could create your own AI calendar that had full access to everything that's happening in your life for free? Something that you could ask, what's going on today? Or what's going on next week? Or can we schedule something for this specific day? And is there a conflict? Or maybe you want to have it audit your entire schedule and create the ideal schedule for you and for your habits. That would be kind of cool, right? Well, today I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you one, how you can do this yourself with Python, whether you know how to use Python or not. And two, I'm going to give you an actual app that you can install on your Mac that will automatically sync with your AI assistant. Now listen, there are cool AI calendars out there already. Zapier has this great write-up of AI apps that are already here. Now the thing is, these are really neat. You can do cool things with them and they're not free, okay? $6.75 per person, $20 a month, $15 a month. Okay, that's really nice. I'm glad that there are these tools out there. I want to show you how you can do this yourself for free and then hook it into every other thing that you're doing in your life. All right, here is our assistant. Basically what this does is it is going to upload your current calendar, I'm using Google Calendar in this case, to OpenAI so you can chat with it. What's really exciting about this is not only could you just chat with it in here, but then you can link your AI to, let's say, Slack, so that you can chat with it on Slack. Or let's say you want to give your team access to your calendar, so you could give them access to your assistant. Or maybe you want to analyze your entire calendar and do an audit of your time. Figure out, okay, here's what I'm using my time with well, here's what I'm using my time with badly, for example. Or you could even connect it to other apps, and eventually you could even set up an assistant that adds things to your calendar, and so you have your own calendar agent even. So there's a lot of possibilities. This is kind of the first step. All right, so you can just see here, I have my calendar uploaded. It's on file search as this vector store, and I'll show you how to do this in a second, but I can just say it's happening today on December 13th. It doesn't always know what day it is, you know, so you sometimes have to say this. By the way, this is in OpenAI's Playgrounds. All right, so here's what I have, and you know, my daughter's celebration of learning is today. I've got lunch slotted in and like a planning work session in there in our system instructions. Okay, but let's give a broader suggestion. So maybe something like, can you audit my calendar and give me tips for scheduling my time better to optimize fun? So there's our question to the chat, and it's gonna load a ton of things in our calendar. So here we go. Frequent planning work meetings. Consider call it consolidating. That's cool. Plan for social time, evening and afternoon slots. Okay, that's neat. Short breaks for fun. I like that. It's pulling in context. Okay, very cool. So you can see how this could be useful, right? We have a lot of opportunities to use this in a lot of different contexts, but of course, like first we have to create the assistant, which is a little tricky. One thing I want to say is I tried to do this with Zapier, which is my go-to for automation stuff, and I found it was really annoying for a bunch of reasons, which is all to say you can kind of do it, but it's tricky. So what I did instead is I created a Python program that does it for us. And this is actually a really simple little program. You could create this yourself. But if you want a head start, or if you want to use this tool, I uploaded it to GitHub. It's public and you can download it and use it on your own machine. It's currently only working for Mac. Maybe eventually we'll create a Windows version if people like it. But let me just talk to you a little bit about how this works. Now, first of all, you do have to have Python installed. Python is a programming language. It's really simple. It's pretty easy to use. Personally, I do not know Python. I had Claude and Cursor code this entire thing for me. I didn't write a single line of Python. You don't have to do that either if you're using Cursor or even just Claude. Again, this is a really simple program. I can code this. It took me a day to code this. It took me like another day to get it ready for anyone to use. This is not really that complicated. But you do need to download Python. So go to this python.org and download Python. Just the latest version should be fine. Okay? Once you do that, you'll want to open Terminal. So if you're not familiar with Terminal, Terminal is a tool on Mac. I don't really know how to describe it. It's Terminal. You run things from it. You get information on it. And you just want to check your Python version. So on Mac, you're going to do Python 3 -- version, okay? And that's going to print out the version, and that just lets you know that it's working. And so what you want to do next is download this program. You just download the zip folder, put it somewhere on your computer that you can easily find. It doesn't really matter where this is, okay? It could be on your desktop. That's fine. Then you want to navigate to wherever that folder exists. And probably the easiest way to navigate to the folder in your terminal is to just type CD and then drag and drop the folder. So I just have it here, AI calendar, right? And you click CD and there you go. Now you're in the directory and then you can install the AI calendar program. So the way you'll do that is you'll just type out Python 3 setup.py and that'll get you started. So once you run the setup, it will install some dependencies. We're using an environment file, a .env file, just to handle some of your API keys. We have OpenAI, the OpenAI API client. We have requests, which just manages API requests. Schedule, which schedules the updates to your calendar. iCalendar, which helps you figure out what's going on in the calendar, and then just some date handling. All right, so it's gonna install all of those things. The setup is also gonna create an env file. And then the next thing you need to do is to go get your calendar URL. So I have this set up for Google Calendar, which is what I mainly use. And what you do is you just go to calendar.google.com, okay? And next to the calendar, you wanna sync with it. Just press that little ... icon. That's going to open a little pop-up. Click Settings and Sharings. And then you're going to scroll down to this thing that says Secret Address in iCal. And this is why we put this in the env file, just because this is something you don't really want to share with other people. All right. So you want to copy that, clicking the little copy button, and then put it in your env file. I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but just copy that, put it somewhere. You can put it in the env file or put it somewhere else. Next, we're going to create our OpenAI key. If you haven't used OpenAI's developer tools, it's really simple to set up an account. If you have a ChatGPT account already, you can just use that. All right, so you just go to OpenAI platform. I think it's just platform.openai.com. Okay, and then that will take you to your dashboard. And then you might have to upload some billing stuff. I don't really remember how the billing works. You might have to put in like your credit card or something. It's not very expensive to use API credits. But what you're going to do after you do that is you're going to go create an API key. So see this little column here, API keys. You're going to click over to that, and then you're going to create a new secret key. You get access to this once. It's super duper secret. So copy it and save it. You cannot come back to it ever. You can delete it and create a new one, but that one you want to copy and save. Okay. Now, last thing is you want to create your OpenAI assistant. All right. So you're going to create a calendar assistant. So you're going to go again to the dashboard, or if you're already there, you can go to assistants in the tab and click this green create button. You're going to create a new assistant. Now, some things that you'll see on here are system instructions. That's like the basic instructions that you're giving to your new AI. Okay. And I'll give you some sample instructions below. You also want to put in a model. I just have it for GPT-4o, but whatever the latest model is, you can use that. And then you want to make sure to grab the system ID. I have it blanked out. It'll just show up under the assistant here. Okay. So just under assistant, that will be your ID. Okay. Grab that and then put it all into your env file. Okay. The env file will be in your directory. It'll be in whatever folder that you created. There'll be an env file and you can put it in there. Okay. And then you'll need to install and start the service, and you just run Python 3 /install-py. And what this does is it basically creates a launcher. All right. So every time you start your computer, every time you log in, it will start syncing your calendar with your new AI assistant every hour. All right. It's going to run every hour. It's going to download all your calendar events, and it picks everything from a week ago all the way to like any future events that you have. So hundreds of events potentially. And it's going to upload those all to your AI assistant. Okay. And it'll even show you a little nice desktop notification once it's run. And if you ever want to check if it's working or not, you can open the logs. So here I have the logs. You can check on these however you want. You can check on this in Terminal or just open up the folder, right? But here it is. You can see if it's running. Calendar update completed at 1:06. So 3 minutes ago for me, it ran automatically. It uploaded my new calendar up to OpenAI, so it's always in sync. It's pretty cool, right? Now, if you ever wanted to uninstall this, you would just run Python 3 uninstall. And again, you have to be in the directory to run that, but it should work. So that's how you use this tool. And if you ever want to play with your new assistant, you just go into the OpenAI playground. Or you could use something like Zapier. So I have this uploaded as an assistant in Zapier, and you can connect with it there. Or you could create a Zap that checks the Slack channel for messages and then sends the message to ChatGPT and outputs a channel message. So I just did this. It took me like 5 minutes, and I created a channel, Joe Cal, and I connected it to Zapier. And anytime I ask something, what's on the schedule for today? Here you go, right? There it is. But hopefully you get a sense of how this works and how it can be useful to you. And now, like I said, I created this myself with Python in Composer. Just so you know, I love Composer. It's like the coolest tool. It's so fun. You can create your own programs so quickly, all right? So let's just take a look at how this works, just in case you wanted to do this yourself. Now, the main thing is getting the calendar, all right? So this Get Calendar Py file gets your Google Calendar link, the secret link that we talked about, from your environment file, your env file. All right. It downloads all the events from the calendar, everything from 7 days before, you see this, 7 days before up until forever. And then it creates descriptions that the AI can use to easily categorize and find those events. Then it creates a new file in this calendars folder with all of the events. So it grabs the events, all right, and basically just creates a new file with the events. And you can see like all of the calendar files. Okay, the next part is to send the calendar to AI. All right, so this file called calendar to OpenAI connects with the OpenAI API and uploads it to your particular assistant as a vector store. All right, again, this is like 70 lines of code. It's not very complicated program. All right, and Cursor could create this for you in like 15 minutes or less. Like you could just do that and it would be good. But we also want to make sure that it's checking every hour. And so that's what this update calendar cron does. Okay, this runs the Get Calendar program every hour. Now, the last thing I want to just mention is the install thing is actually really useful because this creates the launcher in your launch agent folder in your Mac where the schedule runs in the background, so that you don't have to every hour or whenever go run those two things, right? So it just loads the program when you start up, okay? And if you ever want to turn it off in the README, you'll find how to turn it off manually, or you can just uninstall it and that will turn it off. So there you go. That's how you create your own calendar assistant. Again, I just want to say, I was surprised at how easy this is. I don't have a ton of knowledge with Python. I've been using it for maybe a couple of weeks. All of this was done with Cursor and it really worked. So let me know in the comments, are you going to use this calendar assistant? How can we make it better? This is open source, so if you want to make your own version of this or make ours better, please let me know. We'd love your help. You could go spend $15 a month or $30 a month or $50 a month and get a tool that does this. Or you could create your own tool. You could start using it in your workflows and you can start knocking out tedium one automation at a time. Thanks so much, everyone. Looking forward to seeing your thoughts in the comments, and we'll talk soon.